Hello, this is Matt Bergman, and you are listening to the Punk Rock Libertarians Podcast, episode 39. I'm here tonight with Jared Schneiderman.
Hey.
And a newcomer to the program, Philip Proctor.
Oh, no. Hello.
Yeah, so how's it going, Philip?
It's good. It's good. Glad to be here.
Cool. How about you, Jared?
Good. Awesome.
Cool. Nice.
Just wrapped up my little staycation. 9 days off work. Didn't do shit except sleep and watch TV and read. It's pretty fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, man. Just, detoxing.
So yeah, I think it's safe to say that we're all pretty blazed right now.
I would agree with that assessment.
Yeah. So,
I played the phys.
So, dude, so did you think a lot of so you teach like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right?
I do. I teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and dabble teaching MMA at Wrightson BJJ in Towson, Maryland. It's kind of
What is it called again?
Wrightson, WRIGHTSON.
Okay.
BJJ. It's kind of my obsession.
Blowjob jobs?
No.
Is it
BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu have anything to do with like the Brazilian wax?
I hope not.
Okay.
I hope not.
So,
I mean, dude, if you're sporting a mad bush down there, you should probably get waxed before you start
Well,
wrestling around with other
it's,
dudes.
It's well under gi pants.
okay. All right.
No Speedos.
Fair
So
enough.
you do all gi work?
Yeah, I'm a gi rat for the most part.
Gotcha.
Cool. How long have you been doing this for?
Since 1997, so I don't know, do the math.
It's like 18 years, bro.
Damn, dude.
It's been a while.
Did you see how fast I edited that shit for smoking, dude?
Yeah,
Fucking-
I got some scotch that's
fucking
18
brilliant,
years
dude.
I'm
old.
impressed, man. I'm impressed.
I got some scotch for Christmas that's as old as my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu career.
Nice. What kind of scotch?
Glenfiddich.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good shit. I'm more of a bourbon guy myself.
I'm okay with that too.
Yeah. Yeah. So, would you say it's a popular thing to smoke and do like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Because like I'm a musician and I would say it's a popular thing to smoke and be a musician.
I think it's probably a higher percentage than the general population. By how much, I don't know, and that's just a guess on my part. But I mean, there's lots of law enforcement and straight edge types in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu too. So,
There are some gyms that test you too. Like I have a buddy that just went out to LA to get like super serious, and like he was a super smoker before he left, but now he had to go clean basically because they'll test him.
well, if
I guess that might be just for competitions.
yeah,
true?
if he's not so much Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but if he's crossing over into MMA.
I think right now his plan is to go to BJ, or his plan is to do MMA, but I think right now he just does primarily, like he's very, very high nationally ranked for his weight class right now. I think he's like number 3. So I don't know. This is just what he told me. So
Well, I know the IBJJF does some testing,
That might
but I
be
think
what
it's
it
more
is.
of a steroid thing. I don't know.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, and they're not testing everybody either.
Right. But it's probably just
a
to be
budget thing.
safe. Just I don't know. Whatever. Smoke weed every day.
Yeah.
But back to your question. There's a pretty high percentage. I mean, California is full of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
Hawaii, Brazil, obviously. I mean, plenty of pot smokers there in those places.
I assume you've done it before, or
What's that?
like smoked and then rolled.
I have not.
Really?
I smoke after training.
Oh, okay. Because I've heard.
I just don't want to be the smelly guy on the mat.
That just reeks of weed.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah,
but I know
I've,
people. I know people have done it.
Right. Like I listened to the I think I've talked about it before on here, but I listened to like the Joe Rogan Experience, and like he talks about rolling while high.
Yeah.
and I think Eddie Bravo talks about it. Yeah. And they make it sound like they can kind of tap into a different thing when they do it.
Yeah, it's like doing yoga high, I guess.
Right. Like you can feel more about what's going on in your body and get kind of like out of your head and like...
Yeah, I wouldn't want to train serious high.
Sure.
If I was training for a competition, I wouldn't want to be high.
Yeah.
Afterwards, to relax, yeah.
Right.
If I was a pro fighter, the same thing. I'd want to be straight and focused.
Right.
But, you know, I know people do it high. Maybe they say they're better that way. Whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's same with the musicians.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, dude.
I think it's probably more musicians.
How many shows have you played not high, Matt?
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm usually like, I usually can barely stand up by the time it's time to go on.
Are you drinking too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, I haven't played a show in a couple years, but I mean that's just I don't know. It's kind of sad when you think about it because it's like if I was playing someplace where there wasn't any drinking, you know, you're gonna be the creeper who goes outside to like, you know, smoke out.
Would you do that?
What?
Well, would you? Okay, you go outside to smoke, but would you go outside and drink?
Well, honestly, I'd go outside to smoke, but then if there was like a bar down the street, I'd walk down to the bar. You know?
Really?
But yeah, and then there's also, I'm sure there's been times when I flasked it before as well.
You might have what?
Flask.
Oh, flask.
Yeah, flasked it. Yeah. So
it's a hard word to say.
Yeah, I mean, flasks are great for the alcoholic on the go, but I don't know. It's not even like like an alcoholic, or honestly, I haven't even played shows in the past couple of years. But it's basically like, I don't know. It's something about like playing shows for whatever reason. I just got in this habit of playing them, you know, under mind-altering substances, whether it be booze or herb, and that was it. And I don't know. It's just
or meth. Those meth shows were crazy, dude.
Yeah, there was no meth.
Lots of singer-songwriters shooting heroin too.
Yeah, never did that. I never went above weed. And
you never did like mushrooms or acid or
no. And I'm not gonna say I wouldn't do mushrooms. I'd probably entertain the idea of trying those.
You should definitely do.
I've never done mushrooms.
There's like a lot of people.
I've tried acid. That's a good time.
Acid's pretty awesome.
It's been years.
I feel like I would do mushrooms before I would do acid. But I don't know. I had my buddy tell me the other night actually that acid's much cooler.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody, dude. Acid is way cooler. It's more, in my opinion, like more controllable. Like with mushrooms, you kind of don't really know what you're gonna get.
Did you doing stock in acid?
Like a box of
What's
chocolates.
That?
Do you in stock in acid?
That's part of my disclosure, dude.
Yeah.
Disclosure. No, that's just my opinion, though. And I mean, I've heard other people echo that sentiment. It seems like acid just gets like this bad, like name for some reason
because of like shitty acid and bad trips.
Yeah, or just the same reason that weed gets a bad name in like the general public is because just misinformation,
propaganda.
Yeah, I mean back when like Timothy Leary and all those guys were dropping acid, you know, the establishment wasn't a big fan of it, so they spread all these rumors and people turning into like fucking orange, thinking they're glasses of orange juice, which none of that shit ever happened, you know. So, that's just my little advice to you.
Yeah, well, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could see maybe trying mushrooms one day. Acids, honestly, I mean, neither of those are really on the list, you know. I'm happy just doing what I do, you know.
Yeah.
So, but
I'd recommend it though, just to kind of alter your consciousness to that point and just experience that, just to get a taste of it. But if you don't want to, I mean, I'm not gonna hold it against you.
Pusher man.
What's that?
Pusher man.
Pusher man. Yeah. So, we crossed a whole bunch of shit off here. Let me just go in and ask you, what are your thoughts on Mr. Trump?
He's a bit of a dumbass, isn't he? I mean, populist. Just playing to his crowd.
Right.
I don't know how long he can make that ride.
Well, okay, let me ask you an even better question. If I had a gun and I put it to your head and I said, you've got to vote for either Bernie Sanders or Donald Trump?
Oh, fuck.
Who would you do?
Yeah,
Who would you vote
That's
for?
brutal.
Yeah, exactly.
Gun disarms are dangerous too.
What's that?
Gun disarms are dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like if you had to choose, and somebody had a gun to your head, I mean, it's like, who would you choose?
Probably Bernie, only because economically he's a fucking idiot. But there'd probably be less net lives lost on the planet with him.
Are you like talking
Trump
about?
is a bit too pro-war for me.
That's the argument that Bergman over here makes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You think that he would be more hawkish than Bernie, right?
Absolutely.
Who knows though? Because who knows? Because it's like I've been debating this back and forth in my head, and then I was taking that point because Trump when Trump's speaking in front of a room full of Republicans, he says, "I'm the most militaristic," but I'll tell you what, he did say that he would have never sent America to Iraq.
Did Bernie say that?
No, Trump said that.
Right, but I'm saying, what did Bernie say about that?
Well, it doesn't matter what Bernie said about it, but I mean, that's the only good thing that Bernie ever did as well, though. I mean, coincidentally, is he didn't vote to go to. He voted against going to the Iraq War.
But he voted to fund it or something? Isn't that how it goes?
He voted to fund Afghanistan, right?
Yeah, he voted to fund like all sorts of shit. Apparently, like the Iraq War was the only thing that Bernie ever voted against when it came to war issues. So apparently, like Bernie's voting record when it comes to war is pretty fucking bad. So, and then it's like with Trump, it's like, who fucking knows, really? You know what I mean? Because I mean, it's really hard to tell. Trump is scary. It's hard to tell what he's thinking, you know, because it just seems like, you know, if you hear interviews from him from like 10 years ago, he's pandering to Democrats and he's describing his. Yeah, he's describing his politics, and he describes himself as a total Democrat. And of course, we all know he gave Hillary Clinton a whole shitload of fucking money. So
yeah, he's just playing the game.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like he's on a stage in front of Republicans because Democrats would never elect a billionaire.
Right.
I'm sorry.
But why'd you pick Bernie for this horrible question? Why not?
They'd elect multi-millionaires though.
Because she'll get the nomination, right? Not Sanders.
Well, who knows? Okay. So out of Hillary or Trump, either way, it's exactly. I mean, you don't want to choose, dude.
But see, here's the argument
but Jared has a gun to your head, so who do you choose out of that?
But dude, here, let me present another argument for Trump, which I made on the last podcast, and that is that I don't really believe a word that he's saying. Whereas with Bernie, I believe every word that he says. I think he plans to do exactly what he says he wants to do. But with Trump, I just don't think he's serious. Like, I think he's serious about winning, but I don't think he's serious about any of the things he says. Like, I think he will do whatever it takes to maintain his power, to make people happy, to accomplish whatever political goals he wants to do. But I don't think he's not an ideologue in the sense that Bernie Sanders is. In that way, I think Bernie is more dangerous. Sure. What's that?
I said there's some definite truth there, but doesn't mean Bernie if he gets elected, he would get to do everything he wants.
Oh, of course, yeah, sure.
I mean, he'd run into all kinds of problems with Congress, but
right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really hard to choose out of these two guys, or even throw Hillary in the mix, and you got three guys. Anyways,
that's not a party I want to be invited to, dude.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's really hard to choose out of like either of these people, because I mean, I could go back and forth, you know, reasons why one might be better than the other, or one might be worse than the other. And when it comes down to it, they're all really scary, and I find it hard to really choose.
And I mean, does it really matter?
Because you know, one pro for Trump is, you got to admit, with Trump, at least you're gonna have fucking entertainment. You know, you're gonna, if you really disrespect the office of the presidency as much as a libertarian should, I mean, you want the biggest fucking buffoon in that post, because that's just basically proving you right all day. It's just so obvious that the state is that fucking retarded. You know, so for that reason, you know, Trump could be the best
For pure
possible
comic
candidate.
relief.
Yeah, well, first possible candidate, really just to prove that the office sucks, man. Because when it comes to it, he's like the scum of politicians. He's like if Vermin Supreme wasn't a joke, but if Vermin Supreme was real, I mean, that would almost be Trump. It's like, I'm just saying, like, he is pretty ridiculous. One thing, I'm not going to say he's dumb, because, I mean, he's obviously, he's a pretty smart dude. Whatever, dude. He, like, succeeded in business, and now he's succeeding in politics. And on top of that, he's succeeding on politics when the whole media machine is totally against him. So, and that you got to admit,
I wouldn't say they're really totally against him, though.
Dude, they're really against him.
I think that's an illusion, because they're against him, but how much free publicity is he getting, like, around the clock?
Well, I mean, the Republicans are totally against him.
I mean, the Republicans might be, but I don't think the media is. I don't think the media cares. I think the media just is feeding off of his, like, machine.
Well, a lot of people believe the media is against him, and I think they are too. I think
maybe, but
they don't want a president. That's for sure.
And then if you want to go into like further, you can say the Republicans are against him, because I mean he is not the Republican status quo. He's not an establishment candidate. And I mean, he is somewhat of a quote unquote outsider, but I wouldn't say he's a total outsider, because I mean he's fully aware of how paying off politicians works, right? So I mean he admits it.
He's played that game a long time.
Yep. So yeah, I mean I don't know. I think there's really different reasons and the same reason to like fear all these candidates. But I mean Trump, you'd have some entertainment. So.
Fair.
And but yeah, I don't know, worst out of the three. It's really hard to pick, because at one point I would make the argument for Hillary for a second, and I'd say, well, at least with Hillary you know what you get,
right?
Because she's been around. With Trump, I mean that's pretty. I mean, it's just, who knows what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just banking on the fact that he's not serious,
and one thing,
which I guess is like a pretty bold roll of the die there. But
one thing about Sanders too, he does seem to be a lot better in the drug war than any other candidate, of course, besides Rand Paul.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, I said of course.
I mean, because Rand Paul is like just fucking awesome on the drug war.
That's true.
He doesn't have a shot though either.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. So we're just keeping between these three candidates, and I mean, Bernie's better in the drug war than Hillary, no doubt. Who, up until recently, it seems like right now she's getting pressured to kind of like to kind of back off on that issue. Even though she comes from a time where her husband was president in the '90s and he was a huge drug warrior. And actually, under Clinton, they had those like fucked up laws where like
100,000 cops on the street he put or some shit.
What was that?
Clinton put 100,000 additional police on the street or something.
I was also thinking during his like administration, like it's basically like if your spouse was like a drug dealer, and if you were just like in the house, you could get like fucking like a large time in prison. And like I have a buddy who that happened to his sister. Like she was like her boyfriend was a drug dealer, and apparently like she was in the house when they got raided, and she got like 10 years in fucking prison.
What?
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Did she serve all of it?
I forget. It was something crazy like that though. It was just really fucked up. So that's the kind of shit that was going on when Bill Clinton was president. And, Hillary seemed like a pretty big drug warrior ever since. It just seems like now she's one of those people.
Well, she's testing the air. As a public opinion changes, she'll morph her stance to match.
Well, yeah, of course, but she's
a Clinton.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to like when you've spoken for the drug war all those years, you can't just all of a sudden take a 180. You look like a fucking idiot. So yes, exactly. Well, it's just like what you said. She's gonna try to morph the progression to that to stay with the tide. Whereas with even Barack Obama, you can see how he's morphed throughout his presidency. I remember when he first got elected, he wouldn't touch a question like states legalizing marijuana or whatever, and he even lied about he said he was going to stop federal raids on marijuana dispensaries in states where it was legal, and then it went on to happen anyways a few months later. So, but I mean, you've seen him sing a different tune by the end of his presidency, and I mean that is a positive thing because it really I think reminds you that politics isn't really how things change. I think popular opinion changed, and then once popular opinion changed, these politicians had to change their mind to get reelected.
To stay elected.
And it just goes to show you that they will only get away with what you let them get away with.
Right.
So there's a lot can be done by just having conversations like these. Because guess what? The politicians aren't going to have these conversations. Until years after everybody else is, and then just as you've seen with marijuana.
Right.
And I think talk like this changed that, and and then politicians just follow it.
Right. So Bernie Sanders, speaking of that guy, he just proposed a bill to audit the Fed. Was it a bill that he proposed, or he just brought it up in debate?
I believe he just brought it up in debate.
Okay. Well, either way, that's I mean, that's interesting considering that he at least he was accused by Ron Paul of watering down a previous End the Fed bill, or not End the Fed, Audit the Fed. And now he's proposing one that's, an independent full audit? Isn't that allegedly what he wants to do? Which, I mean, whatever. I mean, if he's singing a different tune now, or if he had some other reason for compromising the earlier bill, I mean, it's good that at least now he's doing the right thing.
Well, and that's one of the disturbing things about the earlier bill, because it's basically like Bernie worked with Ron to get the earlier bill passed, and then at the last minute, Bernie watered it down. This is at the last minute. So, I mean, that would lead me to believe if Bernie's going to help Ron start this and come up with this bill and work hard to get it passed, and at the last minute, he watered it down, that would lead me to believe that, somebody got to him.
Somebody got to him, or... I guess the other alternative... What's that?
I just think that's likely.
It is likely. I mean, it's also possible that he sensed that it wouldn't pass unless he changed things. But I don't know. I don't know the exact context in which it happened, but Ron Paul seems pretty upset about it, so it must be... Something must have happened that was...
Well, yeah, like Ron Paul, I mean, you can see a video of Ron Paul very upset about it right as it happened. I believe it was like 2008.
I thought it was 2012.
Maybe 2000. Okay, I can look this up. 2010, actually. 10. So we'll split the difference.
Right.
So, but yeah, you can see this happened in 2010. And so if somebody's going to say, well, this is just Rand's running for president, so Ron wants to discredit Bernie, that this is 2010. When this happened.
Maybe he saw the future, though.
Well, no, I mean the bill was shot down in 2010, and
yeah,
I mean this is fact. This is just what happened in 2010.
It's fact, man.
Yeah.
Don't argue with that shit.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, what do you guys think of that? I mean, do you think is this just like the clock striking, or what is it? A broken clock being right twice a day?
Yeah, I mean. Occasionally, I agree with something that comes out of Bernie Sanders' mouth, but I mean, if he audits the Fed, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Totally.
But does it stand a chance? I don't know.
Well, like,
or is it just a talking point for his campaign? Has he got a group?
And when they say independent, does that means non-governmental, right?
Yes.
Okay. See that? Yeah, I mean you'd have to have a non-governmental body do it, right? Because if you had a government,
there's a conflict of interest if you're investigating yourself, of course. Yeah.
Well, even if they claim, it's a different branch of the government doing it, but it's still the government
company made up of former government employees. Doing it though, right?
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, but what company would they?
That's probably how it'll turn out. Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like, how are you going to make sure this company's fully independent and not bought and paid for by the government? You know, like what? Who are they going to do? Like Goldman Sachs is going to come in? You know?
Yeah, but I mean, it's still probably better than just having the government do it itself.
Sure.
So
probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we just got to end the Fed.
Yeah, I mean, inevitably that would be great. You know, competing currencies. You know.
Right.
Definitely, that'd be badass.
So also speaking of Bernie, we had previously been talking about term limits. Where was that coming from?
Yeah, so like it's like with the term limits. Like, how do you feel about them?
They'd be awesome, but you know,
specifically
a
which
bunch
term
of
limits?
Republicans got elected in '94 saying they should have term limits, and they changed their mind as soon as they got elected. Conveniently.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't know how I feel about term limits because it's like, I mean, the coolest politician that I can think of was Ron Paul, and you know he had a lengthy, you know, dare I say, career in Congress.
Yeah, but so did Mikulski.
Dare I say?
Yeah, no, seriously, yeah, Mikulski's horrible. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I'm that's why I'm just kind of like, you know, if people want to vote somebody in over and over again, if they want to do that, and if you're going to have a voting system, you know, why tell them that they can't do that? I don't know. I mean, like, I understand how it's kind of like, it's also like supposed to be a recess valve for tyranny, you know, just kind of flush those guys out.
Yeah, so it's not a career.
Yeah, totally.
But then it's the idle rich who get to be politicians.
Yeah, I mean, that makes more sense to me because, you know, if you're setting out to have multiple terms, you're going to behave a certain way. Whereas if you know you've only got 4 terms, you're only going to get paid X amount of dollars. I mean, there's only so much you can do to really, like... I mean, yeah, sure, you can make more connections so that when you get out...
Like 4 terms of how many years?
Huh?
4 terms?
What'd I say? 4 terms?
You said like 4 terms. Like, would that be the limit that you would... If you were to choose term limits, like, how many terms should somebody be allowed to have?
I mean, I think it might depend on the position. I've never really thought about it, but whatever it is, I mean, it has to be like a set amount of time that isn't super long where you can just, that's your job. Is like, I'm a politician. This is my job.
Yeah.
You know, it should be like, I mean, obviously I don't think we should have politicians, but if you have to have them,
yeah.
I mean, it should be like someone that, you know, is like, I think I can do something for some good shit for 4 years. You know, I mean, but of course, you know, there's other benefits that come with being in that position. Like, you can develop connections that make you money down the road. You can do favors that make you money. So there's never any way to completely, like, cleanse it. But
yeah,
I feel like if you limit the amount of time these people can, like, breed that bullshit in there, you can kind of, you know, filter out some of those people, maybe get some people that are actually, like, you know, idealistic in some sense, and hopefully with, like, good...
It's worth a shot.
Good
Yeah,
ideologies.
It's worth a shot.
And totally, and especially if you think that, like, you know, probably 90% of politicians at least are full of shit. At least, you know, it's 95 would probably even be generous. I mean, it's like, you know, if you believe they're full of shit, I mean, well, why not get them out? But it's for the Ron Pauls and the Justin Amash, you know, and Thomas Massey. It's just people that do like a really good job. You know, it's I wouldn't mind them staying in. But I mean, it's not even 5%.
Yeah. Is it worth it to, like, keep all those fuckers around just so that, like, the few gems can stick around too, you know?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, so John McAfee is he is running for the Libertarian candidate for president. Now, John McAfee was the previous owner of a software company that made security software. And I don't know the entire story, but he went crazy. He went crazy, and I guess they, like, kicked him out or whatever, or he resigned. I don't even know. But he, like, moved down somewhere in South America.
Hookers and blow. That's what he was doing in
allegedly
South America.
maybe murdered somebody, but no one's
been
been able to prove it. And then some people say it's a conspiracy to, fuck with John McAfee because he's a libertarian. But I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I mean, he's a pretty crazy dude. But he knows a lot about like software, which is kind of cool. But I think he knows a lot about encryption as well. So like I've heard him on like Bitcoin podcast conversations and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean he's needless to say very tech savvy, whereas like Hillary Clinton is not. That's one thing. I don't think Donald Trump's never sent an email apparently.
What?
Yeah, dude. I mean, just imagine.
He just pays somebody.
Dude,
to do
how old
He's telling somebody.
How old is fucking Donald Trump, dude?
Yeah, but I mean, when you're a billionaire, do you really need to send an email?
I mean, exactly. When you're in his position,
tie his own shoes.
He's probably always had everybody else doing everything for
a long
him
time.
for like such a long time,
Probably his whole life.
I mean, granted, I don't want to argue for Trump, but I mean, if he's got that experience leading a team, maybe
leading a team,
yeah, or whatever,
demanding people around.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. So. Yeah. I don't know. And needless to say, I'm not a Trump guy. I'm really blazed. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, but I think so McAfee. I mean, he's like pretty libertarian, right? Like he says a lot of libertarian shit.
Yeah. It's actually,
but
you know what? Like I never really read much into John McAfee since like before this week.
Oh, you really?
Yeah. So, first thing I did, I looked him up on YouTube, and the first video that pops up is of John McAfee answering questions of, like, how do I remove McAfee antivirus software? And it's pretty comical. You should watch it if you haven't seen it. So, like, he basically, he's got all these people ragging on him, and they're talking about, like, just all sorts of like McAfee should go fuck himself and blah blah blah, and he's reading this and he's in like a smoker's jacket looking all like high class, and he lights a joint. He has like a hooker walk up and light like a dollar bill, and he takes that dollar bill that's on fire and he sparks up a joint, and then dude,
baller.
I mean, it's hysterical, dude. Then he starts doing cocaine at some point.
Geez.
And he's got these hookers giving him lap dances. He's like got his shirt off, and then he's wearing like a fucking he's got a gun, like, you know what I mean? Like a fucking holstered on. And I mean, it's just fucking it's hilarious, dude.
That sounds awesome. I gotta look that up.
And it's really funny too, because you get it like he sold this company like 15 years ago.
Okay, so he did sell it.
Yeah, so he has nothing to do with this company, and he points that out in the video. But he still has the sense of humor to make this video like, hey, this would be funny, And he basically says, he wrote some killer software and he sold it to some people, made a lot of money, and then
sounds like a great president.
And then they fucked it up. So it's basically, but I mean, ultimately, it's not really anything bad. Somebody else fucked up his software. He made money off of it, and then he could take that money to invest into other things.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So. I mean, I think it's pretty interesting. I think the guy's pretty interesting. I haven't read too much into the whole like murder conspiracy shit, and I don't know if I really feel that I need to. Because like, dude, out of him or Austin Peterson, dude, who would you choose?
Oh, I'd choose McAfee in a second, dude.
And dude, here's the thing, dude. The libertarian's not going to win. So, I mean, at least this guy is like just fucking entertaining, dude. He's not going to win anyways, dude. And then
zero chance.
Exactly.
It would be great to see him on like a podium.
Who would you rather vote for out of like?
They get snubbed anyways at all.
Dude, this is like the perfect
debates.
Mickey Mouse candidate, dude. Because I mean, we've already established nobody here wants to vote for Trump. Nobody here wants to vote for Bernie. Nobody here wants to vote for Hillary.
I generally vote for the Libertarian Party candidate, but they're so inept as a party, and if it ends up being him,
But it's not going to end up being him, dude. And even if it does, he scares me less than Trump or Bernie. Because I mean, there's a lot of things that he's great on. Like one thing he wants to do right away is release all the people in prison for marijuana charges, for nonviolent marijuana charges.
Just marijuana or all drug charges?
Marijuana. Just marijuana. And then like other drugs, he said he wants to take down to a misdemeanor.
All right, fair enough.
But here's the thing, dude.
That's good progress.
When he's president, he claims that he's going to pardon all of these people that are in jail for marijuana. That's a lot of fucking pardons, dude. It's so. I mean, that's a pretty fucking cool promise.
Yeah.
So, and it's like I said, dude. I'll bet you right now, $100 he's not going to win. Actually, why don't we just do 1,000?
Yeah, make it a million while you're at it.
Yeah, I don't have $1 million to bet, so.
Me either. But
I mean, but dude, I'll take the bet, man. I mean, he's just not gonna fucking win. You might as well make $1,000. You know? So,
okay.
It's
just find a taker for that bet.
Yeah, exactly, dude. So. Yeah, man. I think the dude sounds pretty fucking cool. But then again, I've researched him for a couple days. But
who is actually running though now? So you have Peterson. Is Cantwell running?
Well, then of course I'd vote for him over Austin Peterson.
Right.
I just had to put that out there.
Is Cantwell running?
No.
Okay. See what? So I mean, who's running though? Has Gary Johnson officially announced yet?
No, he hasn't announced yet.
Okay.
So, and then like it's one of those things. Like I've been waiting for Gary Johnson this whole time to announce it. Because that'd be cool to start building some momentum towards that now. And instead, right now, it's like I feel like as far as like being a media outlet, like I feel like we have to like we're just commenting on the conversation every day, and we're forced to kind of talk about like Rand and Bernie, Trump, Hillary, and it would be cool to have like a Liberty candidate out there making some news, but I almost feel like it's like irresponsible of him not to announce it yet, and not to be out there.
Yeah, and I mean we get a lot of complaints because we don't really talk about libertarian candidates, but there really aren't any out there. I mean, yeah, you have like local offices.
I'm not going to talk about Austin. Actually, I will talk about Austin Peterson. I will talk about how much he annoys me. Like if he gets the nomination, and how I would not vote for him at all.
You should write an article about it.
Yeah, I should. I don't
you totally should.
Dude, I don't want to throw too many stones. The guy just rubs me the wrong way, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's dumb because, like, I might agree with like a lot of the stuff that he says, policy-wise, and and
I mean, I'd probably rather have him than Hillary Clinton.
Well, I mean,
or Donald Trump.
You're right. You're right about that. I don't know. I guess
I mean, we hate him. We're thinking of him in the context of libertarianism, and in that regard, he sucks. But if you compare him to like, the progressive agenda or the democratic agenda, I mean, he's awesome comparatively speaking, right?
But at the same time, if the party picks him, it's kind of like.
No, I'm not saying I want the party to pick him.
If the party picks him, like I just dislike him enough to just not even vote for him.
Oh yeah, I mean I wouldn't vote for him, regardless.
So I don't think that's good. No. And I think it in that case, I mean, it makes more sense not to vote for him than to show the party that we want something better.
Right.
So hopefully they'll provide something better the next time.
One can hope.
So. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely see, your point of view, and that makes sense. Yeah, of course, he's better than Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I'm just,
it's better than Bernie.
I think there's
it's better than Trump.
You have to have a bit of perspective on the whole thing. That's all I'm saying.
But is he better than Marco Rubio?
Marco Rubio. Is he better than Donald Duck? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So there's out of the Free State, New Hampshire, there's a bill to curtail the power of the NSA, which, if it were to pass, it would require the NSA to get a warrant before doing any of their wireless or warrantless wiretapping, spying nonsense.
Spying on like social media, spying on just collecting all your data and stuff. They would need a warrant. And apparently, the head of the NSA has said that this bill is like the most like threatening thing since the Civil War.
That seems a little bit hyperbolic. I don't know.
Just a wee bit.
I think it's cool though. Like a headline like that, I think it kind of like draws a line in the sand. It kind of makes people think. Because
that's true.
I mean.
If people read that headline.
Because like for me personally, I don't think the Civil War should have ever been fought. Like, what do you guys think?
About the Civil War.
Yeah.
I would have been a pro secession abolitionist.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Same here, dude. Hell yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I am right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
That's awesome, dude.
I'm pro everybody seceding. Every
Yeah,
individual.
Exactly, man. It's
But-
and that's what Lysander Spooner was. He's one of the early American anarchists, and he was he was actually for the Civil War, but he was an abolitionist. Well before the Civil War. He was just total abolitionist. So. But yet he was still against the Civil War because he saw.
You mean he was for the Civil War?
Yeah, he was still for the Civil War. Sorry.
Yeah.
He was. I don't want to say he was for the Civil War. I think he was for.
He was for secession.
Southern secession.
Right.
Because I guess with Spooner, I'm sure he looked at it like, I guess like instead of having like one big monopoly of government, you would have another one, and you could, it's better than, and
well,
plus,
yeah, the smaller the government, the easier it is to
change
or limit its power.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah.
So wait, where were we going with this?
Nation states are obsolete. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, so it's pretty cool that that New Hampshire is going against the surveillance state of the federal government,
right?
And it's really cool that New Hampshire's doing it, mostly to me because New Hampshire is the free state. Right now they've got the Free State Project going on over there, and some of those guys have been elected into public office. They've got I guess the most popular libertarian radio show coming out of there, Free Talk Live.
Right.
They've got Chris Cantwell coming out of there, who I don't see eye to eye with 100% of the time, but I mean sometimes he's cool. It's like he's coming out of there.
Yeah.
And then you got the Keene Activist Center. You've got the individuals out there Robin Hooding. So I mean, you got a lot of, and you've got Porkfest going on every year. So I mean, you got a lot of cool things going on in New Hampshire, and that's a really cool bill coming from in New Hampshire. So it sounds like to me like it really makes it look like the Free State Project are getting something done, perhaps.
Right. Yeah. No, that's. But my question would be, does the state really have the power to do that?
It's worth a shot until they.
And how do they stop the NSA from doing that?
Well, I would
do
say,
they just sue them whenever they bring someone to trial? How does that work?
I mean, dude, who the fuck cares? Let's have an eruption over this. You know what I mean? Let's have people fucking stand up to the federal government. Yeah. Because I mean, who says that the federal government should have the right to collect all your information, and spy on you, and warrantless wiretaps, and yada yada yada? Who says it? Well, I can tell you who doesn't. The Constitution doesn't say they're allowed to do that. It's so I mean, fuck. This is just fucking awesome.
Yeah. No, I mean, it would be great if more states did that. And maybe if it passes. I mean, what are the odds of it passing?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see if it does.
Yeah.
It's, I'd imagine if you have a few more things, like if this passes and if you keep having things like this come out of New Hampshire, I'd imagine only more people would want to live there, and then the tides would even turn more in New Hampshire.
Right.
Over time, this could... dude, you remember Philip and I, we were talking on the porch, and he was talking about Anika Capitalism, and he's like, he's like, I can get behind it, but I don't think it'll happen in my life. He's like, it's not going to happen in your lifetime, and
not a chance.
Oh yeah, and that's the same way I feel, but.
I think any reasonable person feels that way.
That's the same way I feel, but I feel like that could happen in some counties in New Hampshire.
You think so?
Dude, I just fucking know the people of the Free State Project. And hear me out on this, dude. So, totally, we're never talking utopia. But, I mean, think about what they've been able to do there. You know, you've got, I think it's like 15,000 people so far have pledged to move, and there's been a bunch of early movers there, and they've gotten free staters into public office. You know, you've got this freedom, liberty hub out of New Hampshire, you know, and these people are activists. They're getting out there. You know, they're changing things. So as they make these waves in that state and they're drawing attention, and, you know, I'd imagine there's only going to be more people wanting to live there. And hence, they'll make that place more and more free.
But how would... Hold on.
It's turning into a commune of individualids?
But Matt, in order for it to be a completely anarcho,
it's not really a commune, but I'd say
it's a community.
Yeah, it's a community. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you could have all sorts of like weird libertarian, like hippie communes. I'm sure you could have anarcho-socialist communes there, and you know that would be really cool to see if they could make it work or not. And as long as they're not robbing from you or I mean, who cares? You know, it's basically.
But here's the thing, though. If you really think that would actually happen in our lifetime, like a county, how would
New
they?
Hampshire?
But here's my question: how would they throw off the state?
I think it's Grampton, or Grafton maybe, in New Hampshire. And
how do they not? They don't
there's
collect
no police force.
But hold on, do they not collect any state taxes there? Because if it was truly anarcho-capitalist, they wouldn't be paying any taxes to anybody.
Well, if in any state you could do this, I would say it would be New Hampshire. And it seems like New Hampshire...
I would say that too, but I just don't see it happening until the federal government dissolves.
Well, I mean, dude, what if there's 50,000 people going to PorkFest in 10 years? Yeah. Or, say not even
50,000?
Okay, so say if there's like 5,000 people going
But I mean, even if there's 50,000, that's not even that many people.
I mean, that would be pretty fucking amazing, though, if it was, you know? I'm just saying, like, if this shit blows up, you know? I mean, I wouldn't doubt what we're capable of.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think... I'm just speaking practically as far as, like, the only way you can really achieve true anarcho-capitalism if you were to throw off the whole federal government. Because they're still going to come around for their piece of the pie.
Well, I mean, you know...
I'm just speaking, but I'm just talking technically speaking. But it would be cool if you got to the point where that was it, right? It was just...
I'm just saying you don't want to do nothing because you think you can only do a little.
I'm not saying that either. Like, it's progression. I mean, it's... The Free State Project is amazing because it's planting the seed. Why'd you get quiet?
Planting the seed, dude? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
The Liberty Seed?
The Liberty Seed, dude.
Dude, why do you talk so much louder during the podcast than you do during sound check?
Because
why, dude?
I get a boner and I get excited. I get a podcast boner.
And I'm always like, no. Talk like you're gonna talk when you get excited, and you're like, no. You're like, I am, really.
All right, dude. Have you properly called me out yet? Are you done?
Okay. I think so. I think we got it.
Okay. Well, I don't have any other shit to talk about, so...
Cool. So I guess that's it for tonight?
Sure.
All right.
Cool. All right. Until next time, live free.
That is shed, drenching the flags on the tax bombs in red. Was its way of few at the expense of the many. So do the cards in the death machine. You can't justify killing by economic gain. For God, country, and democracy, you can put freedom in gunpoint in a foreign land. We support the troops, then bring them home. I believe the Joe will do the best for you. And I believe that we have the power, have the power. I hate the state, and I know I'm a slave. We can make the break the power, break the power. Society owes individuals nothing more than non-interference with natural rights. Once a virtuous person fully comprehends the non-aggression principle, the violence of the state becomes obsolete.